I am Dr. Amy Woda, and I am one of the professors that teach Nursing 6201, Nursing Concepts and Interventions, Adults, Older Adults 1 theory course. And I'm just going to give you a virtual tour of the class on Canvas. And what I'm going to show you will apply to any of the sections regardless of who your professor is. And right now this is not an active class, so things may look slightly different when the class opens, but this will kind of give you a general rundown of what to expect. So when you get into your section, you will have a little introduction video by your particular professor. So you'll want to watch that. It's just a short intro video. But as you move through the modules, you'll see you have the Start Here module. And this kind of just gives you some general information about the course. The contact information for your particular professor will be in this area here. So this will be important. It'll give you any information about how they prefer to be contacted, if they have any type of texting apps they're using. So all of that will be there for you. When you go to the next one about the learning environment, this is where you'll get some information about the Elsevier adaptive quizzing and the Marquette Adult Health Bundle. So the ISBN code will be here for you, and it has some of that information. And you did receive a separate video recording talking about the bundle. So if you haven't watched that, please make sure you watch that before you purchase anything or activate any of your codes. And here will be just some general information, the adult need to know lab values, things like that. The other thing that's very important, and I'm glad that this comes up first, but about the discussion forums. And you see here where it says insert, that's where you'll find your discussion board group assignment. And so I'm going to really guarantee, or I would bet money on it, that the way discussions are done in this course are different than your other courses. So you're going to want to make sure you look to see which discussion board group you're assigned to. And I'm just going to pull up the directions here real quick so we can look at those together, because again, this is going to be different than it is in other courses. So the weeks for this course run from Saturday to Sunday, and you can see that you're going to be assigned a group, and based on your group will be the week that you are participating in the discussion. So initial posts for the discussion are due by Wednesday at 11:59. So starting Sunday to 11, if you are assigned to do an initial post, you do that by Wednesday 11:59. If you are assigned a reply post, those begin on Thursday and those run through Saturday at 11:59 p.m. And so as the discussion directions say here, not every student will post every week, so you want to look at the guidelines below and know what group you're in. And sometimes the due dates might be slightly different if we have one of those holiday days or a day off. So just kind of keep that in mind to make sure you're looking at the schedule, which I'll show in just a little bit. So know what group number you are, and so you're posting correctly. And then it says here, for example, if you are supposed to be doing an initial reply, you're required to follow the initial posting instructions. You're required to read all the initial and reply posts, and you can add any reply posts or contribute to the discussion, but the grading of your post will be based on your initial post only. If you're assigned a reply post that week, you are required to follow the reply posting instructions. You do not complete an initial post, and you're required to read all the initial and reply posts, but again, your grading will only be based on your reply post. And you are only required to do one initial post and one reply post if you're assigned that week. If you're not listed to provide an initial or a reply post that week, you are required to read all of the posts. And you are not required to do any posting at all, but you can ask questions here. If there's something you want to contribute, you can definitely do that, but just know that you don't earn any points for this discussion. And so just a couple other things about grading for this. I want to mention in the grade book on the weeks you're not assigned, you will see that a grade will populate in there, and that is just because there's no real good way in our grade book for us to kind of put in when you're posting and when you're not posting. So you will see a grade come through, but it doesn't mean anything. On the weeks you are required to post, though, then you'll see a grade come in for those, and that'll be again based on how you perform. And so you can see, for example, for the first discussion, which is about pain, if you're assigned to group 1, you do the initial post, and if you're assigned to group 2, you do the reply post. And groups 3 and 4 do not post anything, or are not required to post anything that week for that discussion. And then you can see how it moves through the semester. So this is important, just so you stay on track, but it's also really important that even if you're not required to do a post that week, that you are reading the post, because honestly, this is going to be some great information for you to help you prepare for the exam and learn the content in the course. So I can't stress enough how important it is for you to be actively engaged in those discussion boards. So just a couple other things. Elsevier adaptive quizzing, there's a frequently asked questions there, and here are just some other exam tips for you here. So I would also look through this stuff here. This course is challenging. There's a lot of NCLEX style questions on our exams, more application type questions. So I would definitely review these little tips here that are for you. You'll find your particular syllabus for your professor in your course. So you'll have that information there under course syllabus. The course schedule, I'm going to show you that as well real quick here. And this is just an example schedule, so this may not be exactly your schedule for the semester, but I just want to show you how it kind of breaks down for you so you understand what it looks like. So you see in the first week, it gives you week 1, and it'll give you the dates. And again, this may not be your exact schedule, but it does remind you that this course runs Sunday through Saturday. It gives you the modules. So for that first week, on this example, it's module 1. And then for the discussion is going to be about pain. And group 1 does the initial reply, the initial post, and group 2 does the reply post. Other assignments this week, you can see that you have a Kaplan Focused Review Basic Math and a Kaplan Focused Review Intermediate Math A test due, and those are due the Saturday of that week. For Kaplan, there's nothing you need to turn in. We can see your Kaplan grades, and so we will be able to see that. Just moving on to just show you some of the other weeks. If we look at week 2 and week 3, again, you see what the topics are. For week 2, the initial post is done by group 3, the reply by group 4, and then EAQ 1 based on the postoperative care chapter is required. And so it's recommended that you kind of do these in this order. If you do choose to work ahead on the EAQs, you can do that, and you can see that they are all due on that Saturday there. Technically, my recommendation would be to have all the EAQs done before your exam, and so exam dates can vary per semester. So it might be that your exam is on a Wednesday, but the EAQs are not due until Saturday following the exam. My recommendation would be to have all of that done beforehand. And you cannot work ahead on the discussions. Those need to be done that week. So, I mean, you can be looking ahead and thinking about it, but you can't actually post until the dates that your discussion is due. So that's kind of how the schedule works. Just going to go back to Canvas real quick and just look at one of the modules. So I'm going to move ahead to, I'm just going to look at module 3. So you can see each module will be set up the same. It has the objectives for the module. There is what's called an active learning guide. And what this really is kind of a PowerPoint in a Word document form. And so it's a guide to kind of help you through the chapters, because some of these chapters can have 100 pages or more. So it's really to kind of help you focus on some of the key concepts within the chapter, but you do need to read the chapter. You need to be adding to this. So this is kind of your notes guide to help you add additional information to that. There will be I should back up here. It'll always list what you need to read, so you can see the pages for what is required for fluid and electrolytes is listed there. You can see some videos that you want to watch, and so these might be just additional information to help you learn the concepts. Practice activities will be more interactive things that you can practice with. Supplemental files are additional, either maybe PowerPoint, or it might be a voiceover, it might be a video recording, but additional information for you to kind of have to help you learn the additional content. So some weeks there may be a lot of content in here, and again, you'll have to decide as a student what helps you best. If you really like to just read the chapters and skip all the other stuff, that's fine. If you feel you need more videos, you like to listen to the videos in the background, you need more in-depth description, then videos will be helpful for you. And then the practice activities will just help you kind of apply what you've learned. I do want to just show you really quick what the discussion looks like. And so you can see here for this particular discussion, it tells you review the following patient information. Discussion group 2, choose one case study and post your answers by Wednesday. And for this one, it's discussion group 3 and 4 will be doing replies, and their replies will start Thursday through Saturday. And the directions for the reply say respond to one, so just one, patient case study and describe the treatment for the acid-base imbalance suspected. What are the priority interventions for this patient? And so it says here also, attempt to build an ongoing conversation with by responding to again, you only need to respond to one person. You can add appropriate personal or cultural experiences. You can ask clarifying questions. You can ask questions about the topic. So these things that are listed here below, these are additional things you can do. You need to do the initial prompt that says respond to one patient case study describing the treatment. So you have to do that, and then you can add these additional things. And so you want to check back at the discussion board because your professor, if maybe you didn't add enough information or they want you to add more, they may ask you a question. The professor may add additional questions that could count as reply posts, and those questions are kind of geared towards making sure you're getting all the content you need to know for the exam or key points about this particular topic. So don't ignore the things that your professor writes to you. And so I just want to say here, you see for case study 1, it gives you just a very short information about this person. So you get a very short little synopsis of what's going on, and then they ask you a couple of questions. And so sometimes it may be very vague, and it could be that multiple things are going on. And it's meant to be that way to help you kind of think about the case, and because many times a patient can present with one problem, but it could be 5 other different things going on. So you really want to kind of think out of the box for some of these. Some will be very straightforward and some might be a little bit more complex. The other thing I want to mention, which is important, is that this is a conversation. This is not a research paper. This is not a discussion that you need to do any citation whatsoever. We're asking you questions about what do you think is happening, what would you do, maybe what's your priority, and our assumption is that you're getting this information from your textbook or your previous knowledge. So the only time you would be expected to cite something would be if you used a resource other than your textbook. So let's say you found some research article you wanted to share and you cited it, well, then you would need to include that done in APA with your reference listed at the end of your post. But otherwise, really, we're not focusing on APA format here or that you're able to cite things. We're focusing on your critical thinking and thinking like a nurse. So this may be very different from other courses, and so hopefully you'll enjoy that and you'll focus more on the learning and the thinking rather than trying to find a citation to fit the post. So that's really kind of just a short kind of introduction to this course. Really, the modules will repeat in the same way, and it will remind you each week which EAQ you have to do and all that. And the other thing I just want to mention about EAQs is, let me see if I can find it here. When you do go in that very first time to your EAQ, and it won't show it here because this module isn't active, but when you go into the EAQ the very first time, it's a dual sign-on, and that's why you had to have your Evolve account set up with your Marquette email address. And it will take you right into the EAQ, and it will show that you've registered your code and everything, and you shouldn't have any problems. You shouldn't be asked for a course ID or anything like that because it is a dual sign-on setup. So hopefully you won't have any problems setting that up. But if you do, make sure you reach out to your particular professor. And so we hope you enjoy this semester. Thank you.